Family members of the Al-Kadriyar girls has revealed that they paid ransoms to bandits for the release of 5 of their 6 girls who were among a total of 26 persons kidnapped on January 2nd, 2023 in Bahura area of the Federal Capital Territory. Now, this is the story here. The military came out to say uh, these victims, some of them were released earlier, and along the line, some of them, about 4 of them, were killed, and you know, 19th of them was released, regained freedom on Saturday night, and the military came out to say they regained the these girls regained freedom based on their efforts, on what they did, on their efforts. But the family members has come out to debunk the report and say no, we paid ransoms to these kidnappers before these girls were released. And one thing I've discovered and I have seen in our nation, our country, is this: when this kind of a thing happens, the military will do all they can to shut the mouth of the family members of the public and present these victims to the government and to Nigerians as if they regained freedom through their, you know, military power, through their effort. But unfortunately, most time the family members go the extra miles to pay ransom to these bandits, to these kidnappers, before they can, before the victims can be released. And you know, most time when they are released, you know, the government, the military will take them over and do all the necessary stuff, like, okay, we're taking them to hospital for check and all that, and then they present them to the government before they can give them to their family. But the most thing I'm looking at here is that when are we going to get to the point where our military will be so active that when there is emergency call, the military can come out fast and work and make sure that the victims are saved without any form of ransom being paid from the family of these victims and all that. Sometimes I begin to think that, is it a racketeer between the military and the bandit or the kidnappers, or what? Is it that this military, these bandits are so powerful, or so sophisticated that the military cannot, find where they are, apprehend them, and bring them to book? Those are the questions I keep asking, and the answer still remain very difficult. No answer to that. We can recall what happened during the Kaduna Abuja train, attack. What happened? These people were adopted, and each family members were paying 100 million naira for the family, for the victims to be released. And it got a time the government has to negotiate with the bandits, and they have to pay them for them to release these bandits. Now, when you hear this happening, then you begin to ask questions. What is happening to our security systems? What is happening to our security systems? Why is it that each time we hear that there's bandit attack and all that, ransom must be paid? To me, it boils down to me that there are some few individuals who are benefiting or part of this game. And that is why these ransoms are being paid. Because you can't tell me that as big as Nigeria, as sophisticated as our military, that we don't have equipment and surveillance enough to fight, to work, and make sure that these bandits are brought to book. It is so disheartening. And in time, the members of the family members of this adopted were interviewed on Sunday, And they came out to say what exactly happened. That they paid, they actually paid ransom to the bandit before these girls was released. And the police and Nigeria Army source, they came out to say the victims were released based on their job ethics efforts. Now, so or their based on their joint efforts. So who is to be believed here? But as far as I'm concerned, I know that the family of these victims, I believe them 100%, because they cannot come out and say they paid ransom where they didn't pay. They can't come out to say where they didn't pay. And one of those men who were talking, well, his name is Abbas, who happened to be, a family member of one of those girls that were released from the bandit. And the man said, he said, we paid ransoms for the release of our girls. A ransom was paid, and the police were not involved. That is just, he made it clear. He said police were not involved police were not involved. The children called me and I went to pick them up. Okay. Let me just take it from here. He said Abbas Al-Kadriyar, who picked up the girl from the forest, said, we paid ransom for the release of our girls. A ransom was paid and the police were not involved. The children called me and I went to pick them up. On my way, I saw soldiers at the junction and at the junction and the bush is very thick bush along the Waragadan. So I had to call the attention of the soldiers to follow me to the spot where we could locate our children. The bandit left there. The bandit left them there to call us to come and pick them, to come and pick them up. We paid we paid ransoms and no police were involved. The children were not rescued by anyone. The soldiers only assisted me in locating where they were and they provided a cover for us. Nigerians, this is where we are. This is where we are. If you think that the government is for you, or you are find yourself in trouble and you want to depend on the government, the Yoruba people say, oh, you're near, you are on your own. You're on your own. That is all I have to say. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe.